I think it's interesting to maybe put like for lack of a better word, a outlook of your 4 years in Miami. Whether it's the pick six on Black Friday, even week one this year, the punch out,
That's the one that
the
stands
peanut
out to me
punch.
all season was the punch out against
I think
Jacksonville.
about the fact that this guy is a team captain for early on as a young player, like from first 3 years of your time here, like that's rare to be able to do that.
Every team was like so different, and the personalities of each team and how I felt within each team, and like what was asked of me and how the season went. So I feel like each year was a level of like aha. It was a teaching moment for me in every year, and after this year, I feel like I'm a better professional from it.
The average man thinks they're faster than they are.
Everybody looks at themselves and goes, how can I be different?
If the fans aren't happy, you got to create a product to make them happy. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Breaking House Rules. We got Cam, we got Vaughn, we got Dre, we got Pooch behind the cam.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, we don't got any more football to talk about now.
Hey, people all everywhere complaining it's the first week without football. I'm happy. I want a break. Like, I'm so glad to be able to golf for a little bit, to get a breather. Like, I love the NFL, but man, I'm glad to have a little bit of peace. We still got a bunch to talk about today, though.
We do. We got some fun segments that we're going to talk about today. A little All-Star game.
We got some fun games for y'all to check out towards the end. Y'all can play along with us. Obviously, subscribe to our channel and mention in the comments where y'all think we went right or where y'all think we went wrong.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. But the big thing up on the schedule coming up is NFL free agency. And
big one.
Our guy Vaughn right here has his opportunity to get paid, get his first chance to go upon the recruiting trail. And what is it, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks?
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks till free agency hits. How are you feeling? Like, how are your emotions given like this 4 years in the making to this moment?
Yeah, I'm excited, bro. I mean, it's already going into year 5. It's just kind of crazy.
That
I mean,
is wild.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm 24, about to be 25 in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that.
Yep.
But it's dope. It's just kind of like, it's almost surreal, like stepping into another organization or, same organizations, we still don't know. But say if I do go to another place, going from Oregon to Miami, it's kind of like, I've only know those two. So it's like going to another one. And I've been lucky to have a good organization with the Ducks and then going right into Miami and still being able to have a good organization with good people in the building. So it's nerve-wracking. Like, am I going to choose the wrong one? But I just got to trust myself. And, wherever I end up is kind of just let the chips fall where they may. It's a new opportunity for things. Just regular things, like regular life things that I'm going to do differently than I did the last time. Like, figure out, I've never lived in the city, so I'm going to try to live in the city. I'm going to, and this is speaking if I'm, going somewhere else, obviously. Because if I stay here, I'm staying in my crib, of course. But if I go somewhere else, like live in the city, I've always wanted to live in a loft. Like the exposed brick with the piping and stuff. I think that's super dope, so I've always wanted to do that. Yeah, man, just make sure the city is dope and the organization is right, and they got good golf there too. Now I'm trying to golf.
Yeah,
but
that's gonna be tough though. You can only go Florida, Cali, Texas.
No, but there's places where, and I've been on TikTok. There's places where you can golf like almost year round. But it might
has good golf.
Right, it might rain or anything like chill out. It might rain or anything like that. It might rain or snow, but like you can work it out. Yeah, bro, chill.
Hey, bro, I didn't do nothing.
Like you already put in your predictions.
Bro, I didn't put no predictions. No,
I
just came from North Carolina.
I hear you, but like just chill, bro, just chill. But no, I feel good, man. I feel good. I'm really enjoying my off season. Me and my team behind me, my trainer, we're really, getting after it. So I'm excited, dude. I really am. I'm excited. It really feels, it feels good just to be in, this position, to be able to, hey, new fresh start kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely excited for the shift.
What's been I don't know if the word is shocker, but since you've been in the L, I guess like what's been like the biggest thing that's kind of like you didn't expect kind of thing?
I guess like from being with the Dolphins and like kind of transitioning into I'm about to be a free agent kind of thing. Like transparently seeing the Dolphins post things like the or the Valentine's Day stuff or like any type of edits and things like that, and you could see like guys that may not be here next year or may be somewhere else, like, are just not in it.
Yeah.
So I'm like following them on Instagram, right?
That's real.
And like I'm not in none of this shit no more. And I'm like, okay, like they've kind of moved on from, you know what I mean?
But you think the social team they don't know?
Well, I don't know.
They just know what not to do.
You would be surprised.
Yeah, I'm not
That'd
sure.
be crazy.
But I will say that I notice it.
Approval from certain people in the organization that you tell them yay or nay based on.
Right.
And it would make sense though if you're a free agent.
Yeah, they like, hey, you might go somewhere else. Like, you don't know.
Like there's a chance.
Let's not include them because we want to focus on the guys that we know are going to be there next year. There's a possibility that I'm not. So, but noticing that, I'm like, damn, like now I'm just like I'm following the Dolphins, which obviously I'm still following because I was just there, but I'm like following them. Like I'm not in none of this shit no more. I'm like, all right, might as well just like, but why am I following it? No, but it's like, okay, I get it. I understand the decision to do that because I mean, I would do the same thing if I was in the same position. But from my perspective, I'm just like watching it. I'm like,
yeah, it's interesting.
Right, like, I get it, but I'm just like, okay, this is kind of like the effects of being a free agent. Like you start to your team, or what was your team, starts to kind of phase you out in a way. And you could kind of feel that through the fans as well. They're like, yeah, we're on to the next one. Like, go ahead. And I'm like, hey, all right, that's cool, bro. Like,
well, if they re-sign you, you got to tell them to make you a Valentine's Day card then.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell them all the edits that they left me out of. I'm gonna tell them to run those all back, make them all back.
But I think that's a real like thing that you're talking about because like I think people just look at it from. I think fans in general. And I'll speak for myself as a fan. I think we are inherently pro-team. We follow a team. We fall in love with players for a season, but the team will last for us through the lifetime.
Right.
And so as you're saying, you're seeing fans shift on you. You're seeing things shift from the team. It starts to be the separation of you from the love of the team, which I think is just such an interesting period because like the Dolphins draft you, they get your rights for 4 years, and then you finally have control over what you can do. Like the team technically has your rights for the next 2.5 weeks. They, in theory, can franchise tag you. From what it sounds like, they won't do that, so you'll be able to hit free agency. But like, they have all their choices. Now you finally have your choice, and that's when all the emotions separate. Like you mentioned nerve-wracking earlier. You mentioned the emotions there. Like, what are you using to process all of this? Like, how are you going to spend these next 2 weeks going into the actual week of free agency?
So I mean, I got a lot lined up. Like next week I'm going to Scottsdale for this packed throughout the community. Shout out, Chip, Caleb, Travis, all the guys. So I'll be in Scottsdale doing my thing, focused on, life after football and how I can continue to, keep that process going. I'm actually in a class right now, a leadership class that's being taught by Alec Ingold from University of Wisconsin. Nice. Yeah, so I'm in that every Wednesday we meet. Just, how we can take leadership from the football field or from whatever selective sport that we're in and take that to the next level, as a father, as a leader of men, as a brother, things like that. So I'm doing that. After that, I got, my birthday, so a bunch of my homeboys are coming out, and just, their spouses and girlfriends and whatnot. We're all chopping it up, going around, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Then going to Hawaii, and I'll be there for the NFLPA, just vibing, talking about how we can better the league for the players and organizations and really the players and and golfing too. So you sprinkle golfing in there throughout all the weeks, working out in there, reading, and I'm pretty much distracted from all of that. You know what I mean? It's like,
hell yeah.
So I'm not really too focused on it. When it happens, it'll happen, and like it's also exciting because like, oh, who's gonna like what team? Like you never know at the end of the day. It's like it could be, I don't know. And then I start thinking about all the teams that I played for in Little League, and because a lot of the times guys go to new teams and they were playing for that team, like their Little League team was named after that team or their Pop Warner team, right?
Right.
So that's why I'm like, oh shit, like am I gonna be? And some will match up. I'm like, oh shit.
Your whole life is kind of in flux of like, who wants you more? Right. Like, because obviously money's a big factor of it. Location, what the scheme you're going to be in, like all the different layers. But you mentioned other teams. And like we joked about it at the top. Like I think you won't know until the numbers are presented, but like I'll say from looking at things from a distance, NFL and ESPN both have you as a top safety available in free agency. And so for teams who need a safety, number one option, at least for these media networks. I saw ESPN was trying to do fits and they were like, oh, New York Giants might be the best fit for him. I mentioned a little earlier, Carolina has a need for a safety. Going back home, the Bay Area has a need for a safety in San Fran, Jacksonville, where your former DC, your former coach, Anthony Campanelli, is the DC there now. Like, as you look at like some of the options, how do you evaluate that in that period? Like, can you attach yourself like, hey, this team would be cool? Minnesota, Brian Flores is there, if they move on from Cam Bynum, like, can you attach yourself to certain teams or be like, hey, this would be cool at this stage?
Yeah, and obviously I see this stuff on social media too. Yeah. So I try not to like get too attached, but I'm like, oh, that place would be cool. Yeah. Or like, oh yeah, I've been there before and I liked it. And some things like obviously the New York Giants, because my girl's from New York, right? And so her mom is like really into football now after not really knowing about ball and her aunties and stuff. So I'll walk into the room and her mom is on the phone. She's like, I just read an article today. Might say Jevon's coming to New York. You mind if he comes back to New York? So it's stuff like that makes me laugh, but it's all within like, and my family, my dad and my mom my dad is like fanatic. He's like, hey man, like, yo, what are they saying, man? They're like, Tennessee, Florida. And I'm like, Dad, like, you just got to chill, bro. I don't know anything right now. But when the time comes and I figure it out, like, I'm going to let you know. He's like, biting at the bit. He's like biting at the bit. Like, hey, you gotta let me know, man. Like anytime you get some information. So
I want the scoop.
Literally. Yeah. So I've been keeping them at bay, just like not really saying much because I don't really have anything to say. Right. I don't have any information. But yeah, it's hard to think about like, oh, I might be able to go here. Then you start thinking about, that's cool, and that's cool. You can go on Zillow and like, oh wow, okay. But then it's like, well, I mean, I could not go there, so let me just chill. Like, But bro, it's just exciting. It's like being in college or high school again, like getting recruited from teams. Like, oh wow, I wonder what team's gonna like offer me a scholarship. So it's cool. It really is. But at the same time, I start to reminisce like, damn, my crib, my cats, my girl.
Do the cats go? Of course, right?
It's like so. It's three of them, right? So it's Rocco, Lynx, and Remy. And Remy's the oldest. She's the girl. She's kind of distant, but at the same time, you could tell that she likes being around the commotion of the two younger brothers, which is Rocco's the middle and then Lynx is the youngest. Rocco really Lynx keeps Rocco busy because he's always like trying to fight him because he's a little brother. But Rocco just like it's just like this is my crib because he's bigger and heavier than Remy and Lynx, so he's just like walking around like doing whatever he wants. But then he's also playing with Lynx a lot, so they kind of like are together. And I was telling Amanda this a couple days ago, like I don't know if I could split them up, like bring Rocco with me and then Lynx wants to play with Remy, she's not trying to play with him, or bring both of them with me and Remy's like lonely, So we'll see. But I might still be here, so
exactly.
You know what I mean?
You certainly could. And like, there's a lot of Dolphins fans watching at home who are probably like, hey, is there still a chance? Like, we're gonna see. Dolphins have a tight cap situation. They paid a lot of people this offseason.
They also made some cuts.
But teams, if they really want to make it happen,
they'll make it happen.
They'll make it happen. So like, there's still opportunity for them to do whatever they want to do. And I think like just kind of bridge here, and we'll move to the next topic in a sec. Like, I think it's interesting to maybe put like for lack of a better word, a outlook of your 4 years in Miami, because you mentioned some of the fans. I think there's a lot of fans at home who took the bad taste of this year as a team, and even through like, this wasn't your best season personally, had some injuries, that type of stuff, and like took this as the end all be all. Like, I remember the first 2.5, 3 years of your career, you were one of the best players, if not the best player on the defense, making plays. Like, I think there's a lot of memorable moments that Fins fans have. Dre, you could speak to it, whether it's the pick six on Black Friday, even week 1 this year, the punch out.
That's the one that stands out to me all season, was the punch out against Jacksonville.
I think about the fact that this guy is a team captain for early on as a young player, like from first, 3 years of your time here? Like, that's rare to be able to do that. And like, just seeing how you develop your voice there. Like, I've been covering this team and like seeing you from a rookie to come on to becoming a guy that people look to and saying, hey, he's the leader of our back end. Like, that's something another team's gonna get and bringing that into your organization, and a young guy who's still going to evolve. And so, like, as both of you guys, I'll ask this for both of you guys as a fan and as a player, like, as you look back as your 4 years in Miami and like what's next, what comes to mind for you?
Oh man, just like every team was like so different, and the personalities of each team and how I felt within each team, and like what was asked of me and how the season went. I think my second year was the most, I would say, like relaxed and just like play free that I had. And I think most of that was because there was a lot of carryover from the previous year in terms of defense to the second year. So I wasn't necessarily focused on what's the play call, how does it line up, what are the rules. I was just focused on going out there and playing because the plays were like second nature. And so that really made everything a lot easier. The year with Vic, we were playing at such a high level, but at the same time, I was like stressed because I was having to do so much within the scheme, whether it was get people lined up, or I was the one like, you know, rotating down or going back. Like anytime there was some type of, you know, job that one of the safeties had to do, I was the one to do it, you know, and I couldn't just go to the post and whatnot. So, it was more of a stressful task because I felt like I had to fix a lot of things, and a lot was put on me, which I could handle, but it was still stressful nevertheless. So, and then, you know, we got towards, I mean, obviously I got injured, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like the injury itself wasn't as big as I made it in my head. Like I was out for 4 weeks, then I came back and I just wasn't ready enough, and that probably prolonged the injury itself by me coming back early. But I was still able to get back in 4 weeks. Now looking back on it, they weren't like rushing me or nobody was like trying to get me back or anything like that. It was me, myself. Like people would call me. I think I talked about this before. Yeah. People would call me and, you know, they were like, hey, like, are you good? What's going on? And they're genuinely checking on me. But in my head, I'm like, oh, they're calling me because they need me to get back kind of thing, you know? But they are like, we want you back when you're healthy. So, you know, eventually I didn't end up getting played in the Kansas City game. But just like thinking about that and like that being like, okay, I went through an injury and I made it out. Now let me get back for the next season, and then the next season it's just like small little injuries, and I felt like that was just like testing me, like, can you get through this? Can you get through this? And because of those small injuries, like I have my recovery and like buy into myself, in terms of like a professional aspect, like spending money so that I can prolong my career, spending money on my body, is like my perspective is way different than it was before. You know what I mean? Like, really taking the necessary steps to recover. So I think that was just like even more eye-opening because after last year I was like, okay, I need to make sure that I'm, you know, doing my mobility and but there was nowhere near the amount of like emphasis I put on that. So I feel like each year was a level of like, it was a teaching moment for me in every year. And after this year, I feel like I'm a better professional from it. So what about you, Drew?
I mean, I actually saw a stat, I think it was this morning or yesterday. The Finns have like the top 5 winning percentage in the NFL during the regular season over the course of the last 4 years, which is crazy because I don't feel any joy from that at all. But it does give me a sense of optimism with like where the team feels like it's heading. I mean, we still have a pretty good young core around us, obviously, if we can keep Vaughn even better. But there is a sense of like, all right, we have some sort of identity with this team. It's just really being able to put the pieces together. I mean, the year that you missed the playoffs in Kansas City, we were also down Bradley Chubb. We were also down Jalen Phillips. We were down, I think, a couple other guys on defense.
We were down.
Gink was out. Yeah.
Yeah, we were down a lot of guys.
You know, you look at a couple of these years, and it's like we also haven't gotten good breaks when it comes to injuries. You know, Tua obviously has had the injury problems this year. You have them for 2 or 3 of those games, and we're probably in the playoffs again this year, and you never really know. So it's like I feel like we're so close with this team that if we can just figure out what this identity is with the team, stay healthy, get Bradley Chubb back, get Jalen Phillips back, get all these pieces that could make this team like a true contender, then shit, maybe we can make a run because the talent's there. We all know that. It's just, can we just get over that hurdle and just get a couple breaks to go our way? That's the way I feel about this team. The last thing I want is another rebuild. Like that haunts me.
Yeah.
That haunts me.
Yeah. And I mean, we're going to see.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be, you know, regardless if you're here or not, Vaughn, it's going to be like a 2025, in my opinion, just looking and talking to folks. It's going to be a prove it year. Like,
No, 100%
for a
for
lot
everybody.
of folks,
Yeah.
for the head coach, for the quarterback, for the general manager, for the function of the team. They essentially went all in these last few years, like you said, without much results.
Yeah.
Committed to the head coach, the GM, the quarterback. A lot of folks going forward. Now the Tyreek stuff is going on, and people are trying to worry about, what the accountability of the team looks like, what the discipline of the team looks like. They got an opportunity to answer in 2025 or not, then, maybe we do have that rebuild year fear. So I think this is going to be a very interesting year. And it's also like, to kind of end this free agency talk, you hear people all the time talk about like, hey, hometown discounts versus like playing for a team that you want to, that wins, right? I think it's all kind of silly, at least from my perspective, because things change so dramatically year over year. Like Eagles won the Super Bowl this year, last year, everybody wanted them to fire their head coach. The 49ers were one of the worst teams in the league. They turned around to be the Super Bowl a few years ago. And so things change so dramatically that I think we overestimate the idea of winning teams, playing for a winning team, or playing for the idea of a hometown discount. So I guess my thought there for you, Vaughn, would be like, what would be your priorities if people said, hey, what are the main things you're going to look at to decide where you're going to play at next?
Yeah, I actually wrote down and like the best way I could sum up what I'm looking for. Detailed and experienced coaching, a player supportive ownership, just honest culture setting men, a men leading head coach with a goal and a standard he holds everybody to. A team that wants to win and has players with like-mindedness about the team's goals and standards, leaders that want to lead and set examples by action, not by their word. So I think that in itself is, what I'm really looking for. Not necessarily saying that it's not at the Dolphins, but in general, that's like my mindset for what I want. And I think, like, to your point about, what is a winning team? I think teams are either building towards success, which they need good players to be able to build that success, to have a winning mindset, or you go to a team that already has that and you're looking to add more of that same mindset. So I feel like any team in the league that you go to is not a losing team. It's a team either building for success or a team that has the formula that is looking to continue that success. So either way, a bad team needs good players to get better, or a good team needs to continue to get younger new players so that they continue to be good. Like that's kind of my mindset. And that's not going into, like the ownership and whatnot. I'm talking about strictly players and coaches.
Yep.
Would you say, and because you hear the word adversity pretty common around the league, right? Adversity is going to make you stronger. It's going to bring the team together, all that. And that happens within a season. But considering the level of adversity that the Dolphins have had over the course of the last few years, between injuries, drama, whatever you want to call it, a little bit of everything, do you think that this team has maybe felt a level of adversity that can help them over the next 2-3 years, right? Because a lot of times these things happen and then teams just dissolve and they fall apart and then it start all over, right? But the core of what this team is still relevant, going into next season.
For sure.
Can that adversity of what has happened over the last few years make this team stronger? Like the whole thing with Tyreek at the end of the season, right? The Tua injuries, all these things that have kind of loomed around the Dolphins for the last few years. Can they use that as like ammunition going into the next couple of years, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely think so. I think it's, the thought process is like, you do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to succeed. And I think that's where teams end up falling short and like, okay, you know what? Let's just go a completely different direction and get rid of everybody.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're willing to, buy into the coaching staff, into the players that you have, the core players that you have, and you're able to, if something doesn't go the way that you want it, or if the team plateaus, then as a collective, everybody looks at themselves and goes, how can I be different? How can we change one thing? How can my thought process change so that I can be more effective the next time and use the lesson that we just went through, so that I can and we can continue to improve. So I think that's kind of the main thing, is like, keep taking steps forward, but don't try to take the same steps that you just took that got you to the point where you're not successful, or you're getting to a point in the season where you're playing well and your team is on a hot streak, but you get riddled with injuries at the same time every year. So what can we do earlier in the year, in OTAs, in the summertime? How can we take load off of guys then? Because that that shit matters. Like if
Yeah.
you're loading your players in the offseason, in OTAs, later on down the line, that 6-week break is not going to do much because later on down the line, when you go through camp and you go through a full 10, 11 games and you get to those last 7 where everybody needs to be healthy, that shit has residuals.
Yeah.
It really does. So you kind of got to rethink your process and like how can how can we change something early so that it helps us later on in the year. So yeah. I think the Dolphins have a phenomenal strength staff. Dave Palooka is like the best strength coach in the league, in my opinion.
Really good, yeah.
So, if he's there and they're listening to him, then I think they're going to be perfectly fine.
Well, we'll see what happens with the Fins next year. It'll
Shout
be
out
another discussion. But until then, how we doing mentally? How we doing physically? How you came off a trip from North Carolina, played some golf?
That's the only reason I mentioned North Carolina.
Yeah.
It was great. Like one of my boys, Marcel, had his bachelor trip out there. He wanted to do just a golf trip, just golf vibes, have a great time. And it was dope. Like we went out to the Pinehurst area. We stayed in Raleigh. We drove up, did golf Friday at Tobacco Road, Saturday at Pine Needles. And it was dope. It's the first like true golf trip I've done outside of like a state that I've lived in. And so it was dope to get excited like the Friday night before you put your golf clubs all around. We all practicing golf swings, getting everything ready. And the first day I actually played pretty well. I shot a 90, which is good for me. And it was a crazy course, a lot of sand, but like just great vibes, like the memories, the jokes that we had on the course that like you only got, hitting a birdie on 7 for me. Marcel hit a birdie on 1. Like you'll remember that forever. I think I ripped my pants. Coming down the stairs at 8 or 9, the Parkers were on us a little bit. We were having a little too much fun. They were trying to keep us on the hurry up. So I was trying to jog down the steps after one of the holes, and I definitely ripped the pants, nasty. But it's memories. It's memories. That was good for me in that space. But then you got right back, and you're back into the real world. Yep. And so I kind of wish I had a couple more days of relaxing and getting my mind like reset because we got to go back to Combine next week. And so like. I kind of got drained back when I got back thinking about what's next. But it's all good. I'm blessed, like coming off a Super Bowl covered, coming off a golf trip, and then
it's crazy that you're right back into it.
Absolutely.
Like that's wild.
That's the game. That's what we sign up for.
Yep.
So
it's crazy. When you said you ripped your pants, the first time we played, do you remember?
Did I rip my pants?
No, I ripped my pants.
Oh, yeah. What course was that?
Was it front or back?
No, back.
Okay, I got back too. It was the back right pocket. Yeah.
Before even the first tee shot.
Yep.
I was just there doing my stretch, and I did one of
Did you
these
do the
like
squat. Yeah,
bend,
I remember.
Just ripped from
What
cheek
was
to
that
cheek.
course?
That was pro. We always try to remember that course, and I can never.
Only
was
thing
here
I
in South Florida?
Yeah. It was like
close to Miami or here?
No, it was like Coral Springs. Like it wasn't. It was like 15 minutes from my house.
That was near you.
Yeah, it was by him. It was
like north, but every time I think about it, like I can never think of where we were.
I try to look back at the pictures too, and I can't.
It was like a nice course.
It wasn't Plantation Preserve, was it?
No.
Okay.
Because I remember the way that you had to.
No, for sure it wasn't
park.
Plantation Preserve.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. One day we'll figure it out again. But yeah, I've been there with the ripped pants.
Yeah.
And you just got to play 18 with them like that.
Yeah, we did it around 9, so I was good. Problem was it was a little chilly, so I was more worried about the breeze. So I'm like, hey. But it was fine. It was all good. Threw the pants away, bought some new pants for the next day, and it was good.
I saw a video from Zaire Golf, and it was there's no better feeling like post round, and you got a beverage in your hand, and you're waiting for dinner after a round. I'm like, damn, like I feel that. Like, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, special space. So
that
like that was dope for me. We got to get out on a golf course.
We got to golf, bro.
We're gonna have a golf episode for y'all at some point this all season.
Got to.
We're gonna have to figure out what Von's life looks like after free agency, but we're gonna get that in the books and some of those periods. Ideally, you're back here still, April, June, May, something like that. We'll get something out there.
I went to TGL yesterday, right?
Oh, how was that?
It was.
That was a good day, bro. Mm-hmm. You probably want the best day because none of the tournaments have been competitive, and yesterday
it was fire, right?
They were all competitive.
So tell people what TGL is.
So TGL, the golf league, it's not virtual. It's simulator, indoor simulator golf league for a selected few on the PGA Tour. Yep. Some of the top 50 guys are out there. You've got Chef Wooski, which is Minwoo Lee. You've got Wyndham Clark, Ludwig Aberg. He just won
coming
the
off a
Genesis Invitational. You a bunch of guys. So it's the Bay Golf Club, Shane Lowry, Wyndham Clark, and Ludwig, and then you've got the Boston Common, which was Rory, Keegan Bradley, whose swing is pure in person, and Hideki Matsuyama,
Capitan.
super, super pure too. Rory is just like I think when I think of Rory's swing, it's like very like structural. Like it's very just like you're like his movements are like okay, like there's no wasted movement at all. Like there's no like
and power.
It's just like he finishes and he's like
ton of power.
Almost robotic.
Like almost robotic. I'm like Jesus. Like and he's like wild little shimmy right before fire. But they played and it was cool like being able to see them warm up. Shout out to my boy Roger Steele. He was the MC, did a great job.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was dope. So like I was saying, chopping up with the people that work at TGL, like they've been putting the thing in the works for like about 5 years now. Yeah. And the building is like multi-million-dollar building. Super fire. SoFi did a great job. So it's a rotating green, right? But there's like 600 pendulums under the green. So they can create different like variations of hills, breaks, and whatnot while they're playing. Right. And then they've got like these like lights from above, and wherever the ball ends up on the screen, the simulator, it just like immediately goes right to the green.
Got you.
Fire. So they got green side bunkers. They've got if you get into like a fairway bunker, they've got the square that's sand, and they've got like this little lift that's right in front in case there's like a lip, so you have to get it over. So they've got rough, they've got nice beautiful green like a fairway, and then they've got the sand. And then there's like different levels. There's one that's farther back. There's another one that's closer. And it's like 60 feet in the air. And then there's a net above that. And Shane Lowry kept hitting it over the screen. So it hit the net, bounced back. They're almost like, you know how the tennis ball, in tennis, they have like the little ball boys, ball girls, right? So they got that for the guys. And they like run into the front super fast, grab the balls and then run.
Shit.
It's dope. Anyway, the people say anytime I want to come back, bring some friends, we can just use the simulator.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
yeah, that sounds like a plan.
That's facts. So I know we can get some content, and that'd be fire. Shout out TGL. Thanks for,
shout out TGL.
Yeah. That was fire.
New age of golf too.
Yeah,
like
seriously.
Bringing in a younger audience. Like I see people watching it on TV. Like
it's a TV product at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
100%.
Like we love golf. We love watching 8-9 hours of PGA. But like
not everybody
does.
Right.
So it gives you a little bit different way to introduce people into this game that we love.
The cool thing about the on TV watching it is that you can talk, like the players are talking. There's like conversation, dialogue between them, the commentators, Bones and whatnot. They're like actually asking them questions about their shot and stuff like that. You can't hear it in person.
Right.
I think that would probably be the only thing that I would ask is like if you could hear the dialogue amongst them in person. It might be a little hectic just because of the fact that there's so many people in there. Plus the MC is like
they got music playing.
They got music playing exactly. And then like the heartbeat, if 15 seconds, there's a shot clock, so if there's like 15 seconds left, it's like doo, doo, doo. But it's fucking loud, and it's it's like a lot of bass. So if I'm golfing and that happens, I'm like actually gonna fuck up my play. Like, like Wyndham would like wait till 5 seconds, and it's like
I noticed that.
And he's just like money every time. Like all right, like I would fuck that up anyway.
They got the hammer.
The hammer.
Call timeouts.
Yeah.
They've thought about everything.
Yeah.
Like they got components of like I feel like every sport and kind of incorporated it into a game of golf.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was dope.
That's awesome.
What about you, Dre? How you feeling, man? Mental wise?
I'm feeling good. It's been a busy last couple weeks, but I'm glad to be home. Like when you travel a lot, as I'm sure you know, like it feels good to be home.
Oh yeah.
Like just be in your own bed, be with your family, be with your people. Like you appreciate that so much more when you're not around them all the time. Like my girl, I miss that when I'm gone.
Yeah.
But it's good because like you have the opposite and you're always with these same people or always in the same place. Like being able to leave and come back gives you like a fresh perspective every single time. So that's where I'm at. I'm glad to be home. Like glad to be with my people, enjoying what Miami has to offer. Went down to the Keys, like that's my happy place. So drove down there, went to dinner, be by the water. Like every time when I just want to like calibrate, that's the move. Like just go be by the body, like by a body of water.
Yeah.
And I feel like back to equal. So
nice.
I love that.
Yeah, nice, bro. Nice, bro.
Man.
Yeah, man. That's
Yeah, that's us. A lot of crazy stuff happened this weekend outside of football.
Yep.
Right? Like
So
go ahead, bro.
Sunday, I turned the TV on and we getting ready to NBA All-Star Weekend, right? So I'm like, all right, we're about to watch the game. growing up, All-Star Weekend was like a real game. Like Kobe's really going at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm expecting like real competition. And in years past there's been a high scoring game, 130 points, yada yada yada. But I'm thinking it's real competition. So I mean, even through the whole thing, the skills comp, like everybody's taking it very seriously. And I feel like nowadays, especially this last one, it's kind of losing its sauce. It's really kind of losing its sauce, man.
I think that the noise is getting louder around All-Star Game. Even the players are talking about it. I mean, KD tweeted, though, as he loves to tweet, that he was like, the fans always got something to complain about. Well, I mean, if the fans aren't happy, you got to create a product to make them happy. And if that's not the product, then figure something out. I know they talked about doing like a USA versus like World
like
kind of tournament, which I would...
FIBA?
I would like that.
Wouldn't that be considered FIBA?
Like FIBA, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But
with
you
your
have
guys.
to get the world tourney to come over for that game.
Right.
But yeah, no, you're right. I think the All-Star Game lost its sauce. Like I used to get really excited, watch dunk contests every weekend.
Right.
There was a lot of star power in it. I still remember, when Dwight Howard did it, and Iguodala did it, Nate Robinson. It was a lot of like fun, just different wild vibes, and it just lacks a lot of juice. Like I didn't even watch it.
I didn't even
watch it at all. Like I watched the highlights of some of the Saturday stuff. There was like this deal with like Wemby and Chris Paul kind of cheating the
skills
system.
the skills challenge.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know if I had the perfect solution because we always say things are issue. Like the Pro Bowl is the same thing in NFL. You have an issue. What is the solution? I don't know if I got the perfect solution, but to me, it's motivation, right? Like for the players, why am I giving full exerted energy? And honestly, I liked it when it was East-West. Like I know they're trying to do a lot of different games, the 4 teams, or let's do a draft with LeBron and KD. I think we started to lose the juice when it got away from East-West.
Yeah.
And I liked when they had it where the winning team got home field or home court for the playoffs.
That's how they do it in baseball.
4-3, right? So it gives you incentives for teams to get that home court, especially for teams in the mix. And East-West gives you pride over the other conference. And so I think there needs to be some traditional basis that goes into it. Maybe there's an incentive money-wise that goes up. Like money always gets people excited.
Yeah.
Maybe there's $1 million for a winning team and $100K for the losing team. So it's a big drastic difference. Maybe the slam dunk contest needs $1 million for the winner. Maybe that gets a Giannis or Anthony Edwards or even a LeBron to come do it. But ultimately, it's got to be the players. The players got to decide like, hey, this is something that we want to do. But you're right. I think it has lost the sauce.
Yeah, man. I mean, even down to the dunk contest, like growing up, like you said, like Dwight Howard, Blake Griffin jumping over Kia, and no doubt, Mac McClung is doing a hell of a job.
Right.
I wish that it was like Mac McClung and Anthony Edwards battle. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That would be dope.
It's more for the you need some sort of competition there. It was like it's his show. Yeah, that's what you're watching.
Yeah. The underdog can't be the star. Like he's the underdog.
Facts.
He's played like 5 minutes in the NBA this year, but he's an excellent dunker, right? Cool as one of the 8 contestants, not as the star.
Right.
Like bring Zach LaVine back and Aaron Gordon, and then now versus Mac McClung, it's like the 3 who, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that would be fire. Like I think that was the last time the dunk contest was like super dope.
I agree.
Sure.
Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon
one was super fire. So yeah, that's tough.
Shout out Tyler Hero though, Miami Heat.
1 3-point contest.
3-point contest. Fifth guy from the Miami Heat to win that.
Yeah.
Who are the other 4?
I don't know.
Who's got the answer?
I saw the graphic somewhere.
It was Hero, and before that it was Glenn Rice. James Jones won it.
James Jones, yeah.
Won it back. I think Glenn Rice won it twice.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Pooch.
All right.
Somebody else won.
Let me see.
Who, but I remember the names. I know James Jones was the last one to win it.
Got you.
Yeah.
James Jones was the last one to win it. But let's see.
Glenn Rice won.
Yeah, we got.
Did you see the Draymond?
Who's this guy?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. I mean, like,
Yeah.
Draymond, I honestly appreciate Draymond speaking his mind because we don't have enough active players on any sport that are willing to do that without repercussions. But because of that, he says some things that I'm like,
fam.
yeah.
Like it's not their fault that they're
Right.
in that position.
Yeah.
Like the people that, you know what I'm saying, he should have been at Adam Silver if he's going.
Right.
Say
Talking
something?
about the Rising Stars, like they trying to be in the moment. So Draymond's comment was essentially the Rising Stars shouldn't. They brought the Rising Stars as one of the many teams, the 4 teams,
Yeah.
to play in them in this little mini contest. His point was they didn't deserve the court, the Sunday night court that should be reserved for the All Stars who earned the game. Which I understand why he's saying that, but it's a slight towards a group like you said who didn't create the setup. Like
Right.
the NBA is clearly trying different shit to try to
exactly.
rejuvenate this thing.
Right.
They just probably didn't push the right button this time.
Right.
But Draymond used it as kind of a platform. Like they don't deserve to be on this court. This should be just for all.
And it's kind of a shitty look on his part.
Yeah,
now. It's
exactly.
like, yo, like you're, and in the NBA, I feel like there is, in professional sports in general, there is a trend of older players looking back at younger players and like hating on them, right? So now it's kind of like, it's like Dre, like you're now in that light of being a dude who's like basically like a dickhead to the younger players.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like just. It's not their fault. They're just trying to play ball. You know what I mean? Like they want to. If they share the court, they're looking up to their idols too. You know,
Yeah.
KD been in the league 17 years. Bron been in the league 20 years. Like these are guys that they have grown up watching playing ball, and arguably these are their goats as well. So it's like they're just trying to do everything they can to be close to these people. Like it's not their fault. But yeah, bro. In other news, Drake drops some sexy songs for you.
Yeah.
Did we give it a listen? Did you give it a listen?
I did give it a listen. I got through half of the album.
Okay.
I haven't listened to the whole thing yet.
What's your just?
I'm kind of not a Drake guy though, so
Okay.
it's kind of like a forced thing to listen to it.
I feel you.
Okay.
When were you not? When were you like, Drake's not for me?
Probably. Let me see.
Big Rossi.
No. I used to,
beginning.
Yo, we gotta put you a mic in the background so you can just add in your little point.
Yeah.
I used to listen to Drake a ton, but probably after what's that album? Or it was like the mixtape that he dropped.
So Far Gone?
No, with the white and black letter scribble.
Oh, like the EDM one that he dropped?
Not EDM. No.
Oh, if you really this is too late.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Like that was probably the last thing that I enjoyed of his.
Gotcha.
After that,
It's been a while then.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So Drake has done this thing where he's trying to appeal to everyone. Right.
And that's what
And
I'm not a
he
mainstream
has like
music guy.
my biggest takeaway from Drake, and I used to be a big Drake guy,
Right.
and I
Same.
still like Drake to an extent. Like even post Kendrick, if Drake delivered like a real cold rap album, I would bang it. Like I'm not gonna lie and say I wouldn't, because he has an ability to make bangers,
Right.
and like that's what I like. I love listening to music bangers. But I do feel like he has thinned out his base enough that like there are certain albums that just aren't for me.
Right.
Like this album was not for me. Maybe for women or maybe for people who like to listen to this type of music.
Right.
Like I can see Nokia being a banger. Like I can see Shawty's twerking to Nokia
Facts.
and that being a vibe. It's not necessarily for me.
Right.
But I understand he's trying to appeal to a lot of different folks. And so because of that, for us who, like, I'm a pure rap guy. Like I grew up like Nas,
Right.
you know, like I'm big Southern rap, and I'm big like J. Cole's my favorite rapper because of the bars. Like that's just my type vibe. And I feel like if we want that, we're not getting that from this particular album. So I just gotta wait for the next one. So, but it also is not a great look for him. And I get it. He's probably been working on this for a while. You just get cooked by Kendrick, and the first thing you release album-wise is a sing-songy, sexy love R&B track. Like,
Yeah.
But I mean, that's where his money is made, though. Like,
No, yeah,
if you think about
exactly.
it,
He's doing it from a business lens of what's made. But that's, to Cam's point, why I don't mess with him.
Yeah.
Like it's more on a personal. Not to there's zero disrespect towards him.
Right.
As like just what he's been able to accomplish in his career and the money he's been made. You got to respect like that in terms of music. But I'm just not gonna bump Drake.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel like it's more so like sing-along music. Like I mean, I feel like Kendrick said it, like Drake with the melodies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Which he's like great at that. Like the melodies, the vibes, like you chilling, girls around, Yeah, you playing Drake. Like it's easy music to listen to and to
100%.
sing with and dance with. And I feel like that's like the core of where he makes his bread is in that realm. I mean, her loss was that. I think Certified Lover Boy was some of his best work. I think that was some of his best work.
A lot of people like that.
Certified Lover Boy and Views were essential. You know what I'm saying? And then he dropped honestly, Never
Views.
Mind.
I liked a couple songs from Views.
Views is no skips in my opinion.
Yeah.
No skips. Like that.
Views was great.
2016, that was fire.
Yeah.
What a
Views
Time to
was
Be
good.
Alive is what I would consider like a rap album, but is with Future.
I was gonna say that's heavy
me?
Future influence there.
Like heavy Future.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like yes and no, but I do think this last album has good music on it. It's not rap. I don't think it's like authentically rap. I think it's Drake with melodies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's where he makes his best music is when he's just like with the melodies,
I fuck with
good samples.
No, 100%.
He's got great range. Like,
Yes.
He's got great
and there's certain things that's
100%.
why I can admit it's not for me,
Right.
but it is for someone clearly.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
he's vibing with it.
Yeah.
You know what else
That's
is good
well
to sing
said.
about? I got a couple Howling with the Wolf topics. We'll make it quick because we got a couple games I really want to get to before we finish this Breaking House Rules pod. First thing, news story that came out that I think will connect with you, Dre, as a Dolphins fan. Jonathan Martin, who, if you remember him, he was the center of this Bullygate scandal a decade ago. He essentially said he was being bullied by Richie Incognito
yeah.
and a bunch of other players. They ended up getting suspended. It broke up the team. Some coaches got fired. Like, it was a whole thing.
That was a weird time in Dolphins history.
He just did an ESPN article recently where he essentially said, I didn't believe for a second that I was being bullied.
Yeah.
And that I've been trying to fix this sort of lie for the last decade. And, Incognito went on Twitter and he's tweeting like, I'm finally vindicated, calling out everybody, ESPN, Schefter, everybody who felt like kind of told this story. There was a whole report, a Ted Wells report that essentially had documents of like how the Dolphins are and like, what do you call it? Allowing this to happen. Like, there was a whole bullying scandal that came through this, and rules changed in the league in regards to like bullying and like hazing after this. So like now for him to come out a decade later and say, essentially, I was lying, there's a lot of layers there. And I'll start with you, Dre, as a Dolphins fan. Like, what are your thoughts as you see that?
God, there's so many layers to this. It's just like, all right, let's start off with the fact like a bully scandal in the NFL. I mean, like, what do you even, like, how do you even interpret that as a player?
It's like, so I remember like when it first came out and I was kind of just like, oh, damn, like, what are they saying? Like, it's like racial remarks or like, are you like literally getting pushed around? Like, what's the
basis of this bullying?
Right.
Yeah.
But now that I'm in the NFL, I'm like, bro, you're an offensive lineman.
Okay, that was my approach.
What the fuck is going on? What are you saying?
Like, you're the big man there in the locker room. Like, how are you the one getting bullied? I mean, I know you're getting bullied by another big man, but it's like, bro, to your point, you're a grown-ass man. Like, figure your shit out.
Yeah, or
and don't let... Yeah, exactly. Like, something.
Yeah.
But of course, if there's one organization in the NFL that's going to have that shit, it's the Miami Dolphins somehow, some way. Like, I don't. What other NFL team are you ever going to hear that shit happen to?
The king of headlines. They may not be the king of Super Bowls, but they're the king of headlines.
And I'm going to come at the media for this one.
Hey man, we didn't have the scandal. We didn't have a coach snorting. We didn't create the coach snorting.
All right, that's different. That was crazy. Did you ever hear about that?
No, what happened?
That was at the same time, right?
It was shortly after.
Kind of like maybe a couple weeks or a couple months after. There was a coach that a video. I think she released a video. I don't remember, but a video leaks of this guy on a FaceTime with a hooker.
Offensive line coach,
and he's doing a line of cocaine.
Yeah, it was in the facility too.
And he's in the facility.
With a hooker in the facility?
No, FaceTiming her.
He was
sending a video to her. But he was also crying in the video, I think, too.
He's
So
lit.
the whole point to mention that is like the Dolphins have just a history of like
just
headlines,
He's turned.
So
bro.
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, on the bully thing, like I just think that it sucks for the people involved that he waited this long. Like, people's lives
100%.
were screwed up.
That was the
Like,
other
this
thing. It
became
put the
their
team in such
legacy.
a terrible spot after all of that.
I remember when Richie Incognito got either traded or he went to the
Raiders.
Yeah.
Everywhere, because I was when they were in Oakland. Everybody was like, the Black like Raider Nation. Yeah, we need a guy like this. Like,
he's a perfect Raider. And look, he was not an angel.
He is a
like,
dive Raider guy.
He probably did some stuff.
Probably.
And there were some racial stuff in there that probably wasn't, especially in this PC culture, was not acceptable at all.
Yeah, right.
But like, for a man to come out and say he's lying and you create
10 years later.
it's crazy.
Was he nice though? Incognito, was he nice?
Yeah. He ended up researching Screen, made a couple
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I thought he was like.
And he was liked in the locker rooms that he was at.
Incognito was my favorite player.
Yeah, he
wore
was a
Dolphins
dog.
guys.
He was your favorite player?
Before all this,
Oh,
I wore 68. My first number in high school was 68.
was
And Richie Incognito, and then I changed it.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I feel you.
So-
I feel you.
Incognito was like the last like mauler, but
Damn. So
He
you kind of
was.
had to like distance yourself because you was like, fuck.
Yeah, I can't
was
be
like,
attached to a
bro,
bully.
I was small, so I want to play incognito, bro. Just be a baller. Just that's society.
I love that. Yeah, no, but he was a baller. He was a baller. Like, again, not an angel, probably more bad
Right.
boy.
But you need
than
that
good
on the
boy.
O-line, though. You need that on the O-line. Little grit.
Still, and he's trying to correct his name too. Second, Howling with the Wolf here, and I'll just blend these together because I think they're related. One, and this speaking as a media member, we need more of a break between the Super Bowl and Combine. Your boy is tired. Like, the Combine is next week, bro. We just came from the Super Bowl. It is crazy. The league always wants to be in a news cycle, and they are. But we need more of a break. And that leads me to this. I have this take every Combine. The average man thinks they're faster than they are.
100%.
The average man thinks they can run a 40. I was just talking to my boy about this. Like, that 4.7, 4.8, I'm going to be sub 5.
Nah.
Less than
0.0
10%, and maybe less than 5% of adult men probably run sub 5. That's not to speak about the guys who run 4.6, 4.7, 4.5. 4-4. And so I want us at some point in the offseason to like do some fun off the man street thing, have a prize, say, hey, if you can run sub 5, you get this. And I bet you we're gonna get more guys who run higher than 6 than guys who run slower than 5. So that's one of my takes that I just think like I don't even know if I could break 5. And I feel like I train, I work out.
Right.
I feel like at this current moment I'm probably a 5'1", 5'2" guy.
How long do you think you would need like to practice the 40 to get below? Because it's really about the start. As somebody who's done the 40, it's about the first 10, right? And then after that, it's just running.
So what I remember, it's like obviously the first step, right? Because a lot of people have that false step right off the gate, and then it's staying low like the first.
And because when it's on the combine, it's laser, so it's about your hand. Like some guys put their hand super high, and like when their hand starts, they don't start yet. So this is like 1/10 of a second. So it's like keeping your hand tight. Yeah, it's a bunch of shit. Yeah. But how long do you think you would need to train?
I would need 5? A couple of months, like at least.
To break 5?
Because I think I would need a month just from training, of like getting myself like in the right conditioning to be able to do it. Because even though it's 40 yards, it's still like a level that you got to be able to get to maximum speed there. And then it's what you're talking about, like getting in the block and the stance and doing that. Guys can train that. The directions, like I know me now running, I don't run in a straight line. I'm probably running 42, 43 yards, bro. Just kind of swimming over there to maximize my efficiency. It's probably going to take another month. So I say 2 months, and I might hit like a 4.97.
You think you're better than Rich Eisen? You think you're faster than Rich Eisen?
Oh yeah, definitely. Rich Eisen's like 60 years old.
Okay,
bro. So like
I was gonna say, damn.
Yeah,
isn't he like 60?
I think I would. Yeah. I think Rich Eisen was running like what 5.8s, 5.9s.
What was his? I think his best was like 5'3" or something.
I don't think he got down to 5'3".
He was moving,
but he got down to like 5'5", 5'6". And he did it in a full suit.
Right.
To be fair, too. So
that's
like
crazy.
He was moving, especially at his age.
Yeah.
I'm ripping that suit.
I probably would need 2 months to get. And like I said, it'd probably be like a 4.9.
So if you had to run it right now,
probably like a 5'2". I'm like I'm really realistic of where I am.
5'2". Okay, what do you think yours would be?
I wouldn't even know. Yeah. I would say something like 5. Yeah, like 5.
When's the last time you felt like you ran full speed, like full speed sprint?
Like a full speed sprint like that? Probably. Wow, it's probably been a minute, bro. Honestly,
I do it in the gym pretty regularly just to try to.
I do it in the gym too, but not full speed though.
Gotcha.
I'll
do a treadmill. Like I'll do like especially if I have sprint days, I'll do a treadmill where like I'll jog and then I'll
down.
I'll jog and then I'll like at the last 15 seconds of the interval go all out.
Yeah.
And so that's probably 95% like not like run from the cop speed, but like run into like I feel like I can push it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, like a lot of people don't run full speed.
I'd guess that most men have not ran full speed since high school.
Like, and I think that is like one of the main issues. Like, if you, as an athlete, if you don't run full speed, like, how do you know if you can like get up and go? Like, you don't need to. You know what I mean? Like, you just.
That's why guys pull their hamstring all the time
Bro.
when they run. Like, they're just not used to. In their mind, they're like, let's just open it up. Their body's like, what does open it up mean?
Exactly.
Like
exactly. Like as a civilian, like my homeboy's brother tore his Achilles. I was like, how did he tear it? He was like, I was just at 24 playing basketball. I was like,
just regular shit.
He's like, yeah, what do I do? I'm like, bro, get surgery. Like, go to a physical therapist. He's like, bro, I have no idea I do any of that.
Yeah.
Like, that's just crazy to me, like being injured or like not being able to run full speed.
Yeah.
I mean, like I run, right? But to do like I haven't done a 40 sprint in
sprint. Usually,
probably the last time that I played football with my boys, honestly.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a good point. I used to, so when I first moved down to Miami, I used to do like two-hand touch football games at like the park down in Miami. I can't even remember the park. It's in Edgewater off Biscayne, 19th and Biscayne.
Okay.
I think I know what that is.
You know where it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we used to play every Sunday morning there, anywhere from guys who just got out of high school to 40-something-year-old dudes. And so we used to play, and it used to be pretty competitive, and I used to run probably close to full speed.
No,
every
for sure.
week
When
in
if you put me in a competitive environment, I'm running full
in a game
speed.
format of like 20 to 30 second spurts, like that's different than
Right.
like, and I'm also running with somebody. So like if I'm a receiver, I'm running and looking for the ball. So I may not be, or if I'm playing DB, I'm backpedaling and then running. So it's like, it's a different level than running 40 yards straight. Cool. Like, so yeah, I think that a lot of dudes would get embarrassed, honestly.
For sure.
Like, and I'm excited about the idea of it. Like me
Now
as
I'm
a
curious.
person that's confident in
I'm
what I can
curious.
do, but also very aware that I am nothing like an NFL athlete.
Right.
I think that people would get humbled, and I love the thought of that.
Facts.
So to finish this pod up, let's have some fun. I've got a few, fun debate game topics that we can do. So here's the first one. You're picking years. We've got 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years to be without these things.
Ooh.
Okay?
And do you get it back after the years are done?
After the year's done. So
Okay.
you're just without them for those periods. 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years. Okay. So 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, playing golf, watching football, listening to music, or being completely hairless. That means like eyebrows,
Yeah, this is
beards,
hard.
hair, everything. You just bald. So which one would you be willing to do without 2, 4, 6, and 8?
Oh man.
I'll let you guys think, and I'll start.
Okay. I think I got.
I think that I would go.
This is good.
I think I would go. This really sucks to say, but I think I would go 8 years hairless.
Bro,
I
same.
think I would go 8 years hairless, and it would just be my thing. Like it would
put a
be
couple hats
unfortunate.
on and figure it out.
I would have to go 8 years
Can't do the rest.
hairless.
Shazier.
Yeah.
I love it so much, but I would have to go 6 years without playing golf. I would have to go 4 years without listening to music and 2 years without watching football.
Okay. I'm with you on the hairless thing because everything else, like I don't think I could last that long without. So I'm gonna go 8 years hairless. This is tough. This is where it gets tough.
hard,
6 years watching no football because the Dolphins probably won't win a Super Bowl by then. So 6 years watching no football. Then I'll go 4 years no music. I can't do golf for not
2 years, no golf. Yeah.
So as somebody who I didn't golf for like 8 weeks, right?
Yeah.
During that time, you kind of don't think about it. Like
Okay.
I was like, oh damn, I want to go golf, but then I was like, I know that I can't, so I'm not gonna yearn to go play, right?
Yeah.
So I would go 8 years hairless because after 8 years you get it back.
You gonna be some bald motherfucker.
Bald
Yeah, we're all gonna be bald as hell.
No facial hair with the
I
bald.
would go not playing golf.
right there.
Oh, this is tough.
It's so hard, right?
I
The
would
music
go,
thing is tough.
I would go no music.
You don't realize how much things have music. Like,
Yeah.
no
Yeah, so what's the
flights,
breakdown, though? What's the
workouts.
How about if
breakdown?
I'm at a bar and they're playing live music? I
You
gotta
wouldn't
leave.
get to hear it.
Oh, like I'm just deaf.
You're just deaf to
Okay.
it.
I can live with that.
Like
Oh,
these
wow,
things, you
wow,
wouldn't be able
wow.
to hear it. Like you
Okay.
wouldn't be able to hear music. Everybody else can hear music. You can't do these things. So like everybody else can play golf. You can't play golf. Everybody else is listening to music, but for you, it just does not resonate. It's
Gotcha.
just
It's
silent.
just like silence.
Yeah, so like no radio, no music, no concerts,
Yeah.
no listening on airplanes. So that's difficult. That's why I had to
Yeah,
put it
I would
over
go
golf.
2 years no music, bro. You gotta have music.
I
Yeah.
know. I feel you. I was between that and the
Yeah,
golf.
4
but-
Only
years.
reason I put football, like that's my livelihood.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
I could
right,
transition
right,
and be like,
Yeah, so how would that work
Basketball
for
guy
me?
now.
Like,
I mean, you have to be out there just bare, no tape, just bare
so I can't, wait,
bare
so
bone playing.
I can't watch tape?
That's football. I'm out here just playing.
It's gonna
Bare
be with no
playing,
job.
dog.
Nah,
Just-
no
for the sake of the
job.
game, I'll go 2 years no music. I will go watch football 4 years and then can't play. Nah, I'll go watch football 6 years. Can't play golf 4 years. Because I can always watch basketball and
Yeah.
shit.
It's hard though.
exactly.
It's hard though. But y'all in the
That would be
comments, let us know
tough.
what y'all would do. The second one, we're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be a blind rank. Okay, so this is how it works. Pooch, who's in control of the computer, the cameras behind the screen, has quarterbacks. NFL starting quarterbacks. Only hip 10 I'll give you is no rookies,
Okay.
but starting quarterbacks. He's gonna give us 5 quarterbacks, one at a time. We're gonna say 1 through 5 where they rank. First, the best,
Okay.
5th, last. We gotta agree.
So
We
he
gotta
says
agree.
the quarterback, and then we rank them, and he says
where
another
we put
quarterback.
him.
Yeah.
And then we gotta be like, 3. And then we say another quarterback,
Yeah.
and be like,
And they
okay.
stay.
And
You
it could
can't
be
move
wrong.
them.
Okay,
You
okay,
can't be
okay,
moving
okay,
them.
okay,
And so we
okay.
just see where we end up.
All right.
All right, so Pooch, what you got for us first?
All right, first QB on the block.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm gonna go 4.
Kyler,
I'm gonna go
Kyler.
4.
I like 4.
I like 4.
I like
I'm good with 4.
Okay,
yeah.
so 4 for
Yeah.
Kyler. Kyler's locked in at 4.
Next one on the block.
That was an interesting picture of Kyler.
Yeah. So Kyler, I think Kyler is a good 4.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
spot
yeah.
for.
Ooh, Super Bowl champion Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I like 3.
Three?
I like
Three?
3. I like 3. I like 3. Those
I would
are-
argue 2, but
Yeah, you
I
can
know,
argue
but-
2, but I like 3.
But there might be some other names up
bro,
there.
how many? Only one of them has won a Super Bowl that's current.
True.
Wait, you're gonna put Lamar below Jalen?
I mean,
I get the
All right,
whole
I'm
Super
cool
Bowl
with
thing.
three. I'm
Is
cool with
Jalen Hurts a
3.
better quarterback than Lamar Jackson?
No,
Yeah,
Is Jalen Hurts a better
exactly.
quarterback than Patrick Mahomes?
no,
Is Jalen Hurts a better quarterback than Josh Allen?
no.
Okay. That's
But that's probably it.
But yeah, I mean,
Maybe Joe Burrow. I put him in the top 5.
Right.
We're just gonna see what we'll put him at 3.
definitely.
We're gonna see
I
what
like
else.
3.
we
I'll
got.
put him at 3. I like him at 3.
I like
Yeah,
it. 3.
we're gonna see what it is.
Next one.
5.
Ooh,
5.
I gotta put him at 5. I gotta put him at 5.
I love
Just
Baker.
because. Okay,
Yeah.
so what we got? 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
Five.
see, that's the reason I was gonna put
Jalen?
Jalen at 2 because now we stuck at whatever we get 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I feel
Oh,
you.
like
God, he's gonna
Like-
screw us on these.
Brock Osweiler.
Jared Goff. See, I knew we should have put Jared.
yeah.
Jalen Hurts at 2.
Put him at 2. Put him at 2.
Good on that too. Hey, he had a good year though.
Yeah, he did have a good year. He's a very accurate
I
quarterback.
guess whoever I pick is 1.
Yeah.
No, we'll make it fair.
I knew it.
Joe Burrow.
Joey B.
Valid one.
Okay,
Joey
he's a
B,
valid one. He's a valid
Maybe.
one.
Don't do that.
He is the best of the
My
guys
boy,
we
that's a
picked.
Bengals fan, is gonna
But-
love that.
Yeah, but my order would have been the supreme order, having Jalen Hurts 2,
It would've.
Jared Goff would have been 3, Kyler would have been 4,
Yeah.
Baker.
and then
Baker
Baker would have been
That was a good
5.
call. That was a good call.
I see where his head was at, but I was thinking this guy was gonna throw us a Lamar in there. and
Yeah, I
wasn't
didn't know.
gonna be.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you were gonna
see
go
that-
like an older quarterback, like a
Yeah.
Drew Brees in
No,
there.
no,
or
they're all
something.
current starting quarterbacks.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's tough because you don't know what's next.
Right.
Right.
So that's what the blind ring is fun.
It's all right. It's a good
Yeah.
list. Jared Goff would have been 3. We switched them around.
And some people might argue
He
that
could've went to the Super Bowl last year.
Jared Goff
Jared
is
Goff's
better than
solid
Jalen
too.
Hurts.
He's a
Yeah,
solid
but you
too.
can't make
He's a
that.
solid
You
too.
can't make that argument considering Jalen
After
Hurts
Super
comes
Bowl.
off of
After
Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
Yeah, true.
Well, these are fun. Y'all let us know what y'all want in the comments. We're going to do more of these at the end of the episode. Let
Yep.
us know what y'all want us to talk about. And so as we wrap things up, Dre, you got a word for
Yes,
us?
sir. Pull it up right here. Today's Tranquilo Thoughts. Be grateful for today. Be grateful for the journey that has led you to this point. Even if you may not be where you want to be, you have achieved and grown so much. Let go of the mistakes of the past and focus less on the what ifs of the future. Today's your day to give gratitude for the roof over your head, the body you use daily, the growth you've achieved, and the amazing things that are coming your way. Lead with gratitude today and every day.
Let's go. Gratitude. I love that word.
Appreciate
sir.
y'all.
Appreciate y'all. Another episode of Breaking House Rules. Subscribe, follow. We'll see y'all soon.
Dab around.